Welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of December 5th through to the 11th. This is a big week in the astrology. We have 2 planets changing sign, a full moon in Gemini, and we are getting set up now as the planets are moving into Capricorn, setting up for that year end and 2023, the start of actually all of January pretty much. So let's get to it. So on Monday, we have squares, the moon square to Saturn, and the moon is conjunct Uranus. Moon transits are very fast, but the moon is our emotional nature. So with a square to Saturn, we might feel irritated, or we're trying to get something done. We don't feel free enough to do it. And that conjunction to Uranus might make us feel a little anxious, or having us sort of doubt ourselves, or maybe you're trying to be your effervescent self and you're not feeling received. So Monday might be a bit of a turbulent day in terms of just feeling out of sorts is what I'm feeling with that day. On Tuesday, December 6th, we have Mercury moving into Capricorn. Capricorn energy is about responsibility, doing the right thing, focus, determination. I wrote down a number of words here. We're focused on so Mercury is our mind, communication, thought processing, and the way we connect with the people closest to us. So these are about long-term goals, solid, realistic plans, productive, structured, practical, efficient, useful. Relevant and essential information now is what we focus on. Realism. What is real, right? When we moved out of that Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius is about opportunities. And now we move into probabilities. What is actually true? So all those details that you didn't have before start to come into your mind and start to become aware to you. Realistic, focused, methodical, logical, easier to concentrate now. So this is bringing in more of that earth energy. Now, Capricorn is a cardinal earth energy, meaning earth is grounded, logical, practical, hardworking. And cardinal signs are the signs that start the seasons. They have a lot of determination, willpower. Let's go. I call it the CEO power. You have the big overview of what the company needs to do, but the details, that's more of a fixed signs kind of thing. So during this time, we are buckled down with this Capricorn energy coming in. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde at the end of December. So he's going to stay in Capricorn for an extended period of time, 7 weeks. That's unusual. So this is happening not this week, but next week on the 12th, where Mercury is going to start to go into retro shade, meaning he's going to go over those degrees again. Sorry, I shouldn't call him he. It's a non-binary planet in astrology. So as they move through those degrees after on the 12th, so next week, we are going to go over those degrees again when it goes retrograde. So this is a week to get stuff done. Go sign the papers, book the trip, get your shopping done, all of the things that need your mind to get things organized, structured. Do it now. Sign any contracts, really get clear on your travel plans, things like that. Mercury rules those aspects, because afterwards, communication, our travel, it's going to be a bit murky. We're going to have to do it over again. And just pay attention. What are you thinking? What are you working on now? Get things sorted out. If you got things, especially as a business person or CEO or someone who's maybe in the online business, you want to solid up all your offerings for January, because you don't want to be launching during this. So have all your systems ready to go. Okay. And so Capricorn is a really potent energy for getting things accomplished, planning, practical, structured, organizing your life. Now, on this day as well, so Mercury, just going back to Mercury, going to move into Capricorn December 5th and is going to retrograde December 29th, direct on January 18th, and then they will finally move out of Capricorn on February 11th when they move into Aquarius. So it's a long time. Now we can use it for our benefit, to be focused, to work on our structures, to really get through a lot of our planning, if you will, for 2023. This is good energy for that. And when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a good time to look over your structures. Let's say if you're in business, do you have insurance? Do you have your accounts set up? Are you ready for tax season? Are you taking advantage of all your tax credits? Is your team the right team for you? Are you focusing on the right things? Do you have your social media buckled down? Those are all wonderful ways to get use up this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn at that time. I'll talk more about that in coming weeks. On this Tuesday, December 6th, we also have a Mercury square to Jupiter. Jupiter is about expansion, optimism. In Pisces, it's a spiritual nature. So we're getting these intuitive downloads. We're feeling very connected and compassionate and loving to society and to each other. And this Mercury going into Capricorn, this is about kind of getting things done and being responsible and doing the thing. So this square to Jupiter might make you bite off more than you can chew, overcommit to things, talk a big game, think that you can do all these things, or be really responsible and take on so many responsibilities that you burn out, right? That's the downside to Capricorn, is taking on too much, burning out, feeling like they really need a lot of boundaries because they've overgiven to everybody and now they're, screw that. They're coming back into themselves. Another downside for Capricorn energy is rigidity, right? Feeling like we've got to do all the things. And instead, I want you to bring in that Cancer energy of intuition and how can we do things differently? How can we collaborate? How can we bring in support and receive, not just give? So this is going to be that Capricorn energy that we're going to be navigating until the end of this year and into the beginning of next year. So this Mercury square to Jupiter and Mercury going into Capricorn, this is going to set up this full moon in Gemini as well. But this full week really is being responsible, yes, but then where are you being responsible for more than your share? Because you're trying to manage other people's expectations, being overly considerate, doing so much for the team because you do it well and you do it better than anyone. And I'm laughing because I used to be like that. So Mercury square to Jupiter, be careful that you don't overshare, big one, gossip, really taking on too many things, need to focus on minor details too, right? This is like you got so many big things, but you're not paying attention to the little details. This could be an error in judgment, a misunderstanding based in ego. Optimistic, being big visions and positive, this great energy for that. So visioning, putting together some goals, but then being realistic with the goals. Like, how much time would it take us to get this done? Could I do this work? Like, what does this look like? Could also mean that you talk too much, overpromise, lack of concentration, and lack of focus. So it's interesting because when Mercury is at that 0 degree mark of any sign, it's going to kind of we call it an anaretic degree or a critical degree in astrology, meaning it's trying to figure itself out, right? It's so Sagittarius, and now it's coming into this Capricorn. So it's like, okay, I've got all these big ideas. Now, how do I ground that into reality? How do I sort myself out? So it's a little bit of a sticky point. It's sticky degree because we're trying to sort out how we do this, right? This doesn't know, it hasn't mastered this yet. So it could be a day where you're just feeling, again, a little out of sorts, and that you're sort of like got these big ideas and big dreams, and you're trying to sort out how do I make this work? So you can get frustrated with yourself. Details are going to come. Just give yourself a breath. Details are going to come. Wednesday, December 7th, we have a full moon in Gemini, and this Gemini energy is going to be interesting. Interesting because there are two planets that are kind of, I'm going to say, throwing a bit of a wrench in things. So one, we have the sun and moon opposite each other. So the sun is in Sagittarius, bright, optimistic, big visions, big goals. Gemini is the opposite in terms of smaller visions, smaller details, wanting to know little bits about all the information of things. Sagittarius is like philosophy, university, getting deeper into one topic and expanding on that, versus Gemini is early childhood education, all the different subjects, knowing a little bit about everything, right? Like, the biology of a cell and a rat. My son is digesting, God, dissecting a rat. And I'm just like, how is that ever going to come in handy in life unless you want to go into medicine, I guess, or medical lab stuff, Again, it's like, why don't we talk about real life stuff, practical stuff, Gemini. Anyways, so this Gemini energy is a full moon at 16 degrees of Gemini at 9:08 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 11:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8:08 p.m. Pacific Time. So this is a time for change. This feeling is, there's some planets here. So so before I talk about what this is going to do, I'm going to tell you about the planets. So the sun is in Sagittarius, and the moon is in Gemini. Gemini can be a scattery energy because it wants to know all the things. It wants to talk about all the things. It wants to learn all the things. It is the duality, the sign of duality, the yin and the yang, the introvert and the extrovert, right? Geminis are very dynamic. They have all in one, right? That's why sometimes they feel like, I think they're misunderstood. Actually, I think they're the most misunderstood sign in the zodiac because they have a brilliance to them. They have a Gumby-like quality. They can be all things, right? And they just got to allow themselves to be multi-passionate. So the sun and the moon are opposite each other. Now the moon being in Gemini, there's another planet in Gemini right now, and he is retrograde, and that is Mars. Mars is about our motivation, our passion, our desires. And retrograde in Gemini is what is motivating you? What are your passions? You might feel like, yes, you're hell yes to this, and then the next day you're a no. You feel like you're hot and cold, wishy-washy. It's been a tough time for people like me, very fiery. I want to get going on things. And I'm just like, one day I'm like, yes. The next day I was like, ooh, I don't know if I should do that anymore. Did I make a bad thing? Did I make a choice? Did I feel good? I feel like I speak from my intuition. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So this Mars Gemini energy retrograde is coming to sit with the moon at the exact same degree, 16 degrees. They are sitting exactly conjunct. Ooh, this moon is going to highlight where we feel like we are really not following our passion, where we are trying to, this is a moon about curiosity, okay? This is not a moon to come to any big conclusions or this is who I am or this is where I need to go or this is my thing. This Gemini energy is not meant for that. This is an energy of trying it out and see how it feels. Try out a launch, doesn't go well. Okay, it's information. Everything you're doing, everything is feedback for what you are trying and what you are thinking, right? Your actions, your perceptions, those are the only two things you can control. And everything else that's coming back to you is feedback, right? So if somebody is having a tough time with you, that's feedback. And if you get irritated by that, then there's something in here that you need to look at. Irritation, triggers are all wounds within that we got to look at. We can't fix other people. We can only fix ourselves. And by fix, I mean understand where this wound is, give ourselves safety, and understand how we need to be loved and what this inner you needs to feel safe. It is. So this moon with Mars is going to make things a little volatile because we're not going to know exactly feel. You might feel hot and cold. You may feel very irritable. You might feel like you're very passionate about something and then you're not. No big decisions on this moon, okay? No big decisions. Now, there's a square to Neptune as well. So we call this a T square because the sun is on one side, the moon's on the other, and the T is to Neptune. And that Neptune can make things uber, super foggy, right? Confusing, deception. Like this is not a time to be talking out of turn. This is not a time to be talking up a big storm, to be putting out things that are controversial. You can be really misunderstood at this time. Your motivations, Mars, can be misunderstood. You can feel frustrated that you're not moving forward, Mars square to Neptune. We feel like we're taking one step forward and 3 steps back, right? There's this anticipation where we feel like we want to do something, but we can't. So this is our right timing aspect whenever you feel like that. Now, as well on this moon, now we already know that Mercury square to Jupiter is still in effect. Venus square to Jupiter is also going to be in effect. And Venus is still in Sagittarius. She is going to move into Capricorn on Friday. But in these last degrees of Capricorn, she is fired up. She wants to go. She wants to be free. She wants to have experiences. But Mercury is like, what are you being responsive? And you're like, oh, sucks. So when we have that square to Jupiter, we feel like we are so duality. Like there's this feeling of like, I thought I wanted this. We feel confused. We feel deceived. We don't know if we can trust our intuition because we just want some answers. So choose wisely with your words. Really, be with what do you want? Why do you want it? Be in the curiosity in it, right? You're not going to make any big decisions with this energy. We want to be practical because Mercury is in Capricorn, but then we have this fiery heart that just wants to be free and wants to have these experiences. And then there's a square to Jupiter because we want to be big, but we can't be. We're so frustrated. I'm feeling this right now with my bank account, right? Money. Capricorn is also money and how we manage our resources. Well, it's Taurus, but that's a whole other conversation. But what we'll say is this square to Jupiter can make us feel like we can't get what we want, or we're feeling like it's just so far away. This can feel like disillusionment. This can feel like sadness. This can feel depression. So I really want you to use this energy about choice, right? And think about, what is the outcome I desire? What is the opportunity in this moment? Remember, when you are feeling this duality, when you are feeling frustrated, when you feel like you can't move forward, it is not the time to move forward. It's the time to get clear. Your soul is so excited because you're on the verge of a breakthrough. And sitting in this moment of this breakthrough energy, it is not meant for you to come to any big conclusions. But what I want you to focus on is, what do you want to feel like? What is the outcome you desire here? We're going to use Neptune to the best and highest possible. So Neptune in its best and highest in Pisces is about dreaming big dreams, listening and feeling our intuition. We might not be able to feel our intuition or listen to it, but I want you to live in possibility. That Venus Sagittarius energy and that Pisces energy is dreaming big dreams. Sagittarius is having big goals and being optimistic. Mercury is going to be a bit of a downer because of that Capricorn energy of going, but like, are you, is this possible for you? Who do you think you are? You know, that kind of like, are you being responsible? And I want you to just say, it's all possible. It's all possible. The details are going to come. Things are going to sort itself out. You're not going to save the world today. Maybe someone will, not you, because you're going to be in the curiosity of what is coming up for you. So this is wonderful for writing, for creativity, for being in your light self, because when your ego starts to get involved here, it's going to be a downer, right? So yeah, and you still got to pay the bills. You still got to live. You still got to eat. So being in the idea of, what is my next right action, given that I need to have safety, and what are your wounds around safety? What are your wounds about this next big thing in your vision for the future? What's blocking you from that? Because what's blocking you from that is what's keeping you safe. And you're working against yourself because there's an inner you that's like, no. We're going to drive the bus, and I'm not going to let you be this bigger person, because when we're bigger, what happens? What happens when you're bigger? For me, it's when I'm seen. What happens when I'm seen? I'm targeted, right? Okay, I've gotten over that. I'm safe. I know that the people who need me are going to find me. You're watching this. You are someone that really takes in this information. This is who I'm talking to. You are the heart that I have in my heart when I'm channeling this information and writing this out. So thank you for being here. And everyone else doesn't really matter to me. They're not ready for me. And I'm not for everyone. And neither are you. You're not for everyone. It's okay. Okay. They'll find their people. So Thursday, December 8th, we have the Sun opposite Mars. This was already in play during the full moon, but it's going to be exact on Thursday. And this Sun, our vitality, our energy, opposite Mars, our passion, our drive, our focus, where we're trying to go, our egoic will. Retrograde in Gemini is a very frustrating aspect. We want to go, but we can't. Strong desires, anger, competition, aggression. Keep your ego in check on this day, right? Someone's going to irritate you, and you're going to be like, what is this trying to teach me, right? The example that's coming up is someone cuts you off in traffic. What if they're rushing to the airport? What if they're rushing to the hospital because they have a sick kid in the car? They're not thinking of you, right? And I love my husband dearly, but whenever someone cuts him off and he's like, I'm like, they're not even thinking of you. They're not. Right? It's your ego that's like, right? Yes, it's unsafe. Yes, you had to, hit your brakes. Yeah, if you hit them, what really is happening is you have a fear that you are going to be in an accident and this person didn't consider your needs, right? And that person is trying to do something else and they're not considering you. They're in a rush to do something. So when we start to see that their needs and what's happening to them is not really involving you, unless they might come and tell you off. Let's say you're in a store and you took the last something or other, and the person's like, I wanted that. And you're like, I got it. It's too bad. Go find something else. And they might be like, I hate you. And it's really because they're feeling inadequate. They're feeling sad, right? It's really irritating when you say to someone, I hear that you're frustrated. Because they're like, oh, I am frustrated. You're the cause of it. It's like, no, actually, cause is within you. But we don't want to get into that. It does get really irritating when you're like, I hear your frustration. I'm sorry that's happening for you. And I mean, if you did something that really hurt someone, then there's accountability needed there too. So it's hard to speak in vague terms on these things. But always just, if you're coming in with a clear and good heart, then you'll always come out on the other side, right? So irritability, anger, jealousy, conflict, sexual tension, and a side of competitiveness might come out on this during this. So avoid risks on Thursday. Okay, really avoid those risks. Because that Mars rules cars as well. So if we're in this energy of like gunning to go somewhere or needing to get something done, we can be in an accident. We can also hurt ourselves if we're like not moving with purpose in our lives. It does not mean you will be in an accident. It just meaning saying to you to slow down, and community over competition, right? Seeing the best in people and in yourself as well. And you can use this energy to get stuff done, like this energy that needs to be worked out. So on Thursday, really important to have some physical exercise to get this energy out. But it's not just Thursday. It's going to be leading up to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're going to have this Mars opposite the sun coming in and just making you feel frustrated, making you feel rammy, maybe feeling like, oh, I got to get stuff done. You know what? Channel into cleaning your house. Channel into being productive. Channel into going to the gym. Super good idea. Friday, we have Venus moving into Capricorn as well. Capricorn Venus is about getting serious about your finances, co-workers, connection with people that support your ambitions and help you to increase your lot in life in some way. So we want to be connecting with people who are going to last the test of time. They're going to be reliable. We're going to be faithful to us. So we really crave that deep connection and safety in that connection. And of course, because Mercury, whenever Mercury does, Venus is going to do, because they're traveling pretty close together, Venus is going to be square to Jupiter. So this promising too much in relationships. This is, a lot of hard work, trying so hard in relationships might not be great. This can make you very generous. Overindulgence is very big right now. And because of that square to Neptune, I'm just going to say you're probably really sensitive at this time to medicine, to recreational drugs, just being really careful with that. Do not lower your standards if you are dating, because this can feel like you want to be in a relationship and you're like, oh, this guy is calling, and you're like, oh, he's not that great. I'm going to lower my standards. You're going to have a bit of a wake-up call if you're doing that at this time. Great for having fun, not so great for hard work. Optimistic, generous, very social. Making friends is really ideal under this transit. So use it for the good, but remind yourself that there is downside of overindulging, over generosity, paying the tab for everybody. You got Mercury in Capricorn going, you got to pay your bills. You got things to do with that money. Don't be spending it on everybody and doing everything. And do not go Christmas shopping on this energy and like have no budget. Like give yourself $200 in hand and go Christmas shopping so that you have that much to spend. Because if you think it's gonna go debit and credit card, this is an energy where you're very prone to overspending. And that energy is going to leak over into the weekend. So just be aware of that. And then Saturday, Sunday, no major aspects, just some adjustments needing to be made on Saturday with people around you. And then Sunday is actually a very optimistic day. Your intuition is going to be firing. You're going to feel very positive, but the moon is opposite Pluto. So that can be a triggering energy for evolution, feeling like we can't let go of things, our safety blankets being challenged in some way. So this could feel like an insecurity coming up. So, there's some things in play this week that is going to be bringing up your safety, security, your responsibilities. We're moving into responsibility season with Capricorn energy. So using it to create the life that you want. Where you feel stuck, start to vision and start to understand why you feel stuck there. What safety does it bring you? And you might be thinking, oh, this thing doesn't bring me safety. It absolutely does. Otherwise, you wouldn't be facing it. So you wouldn't be needing to release it in some way, right? There's no such thing as self-sabotage. They are all parts of you trying to keep you safe. So what part of you have you outgrown, and how can you help that part of you heal? Wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Happy full moon coming up. This Capricorn energy coming in, trying to get things done. And unfortunately, this Mars retrograde is not letting us do anything serious. We're still in contemplation mode, but this is bringing more responsibility. So hope you're able to use this energy in the highest and best. And I'm here cheering you on. I'm in the soup with you, y'all. So, I always like to share from my heart what's happening for me too. You're not alone. We're in this together. You are amazing. Have a great week.